Hello and welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
And Angelica Bell. Now, tonight's guests once presented a show in which three middle-aged men drove all sorts of cars around the world, but they've moved on, apparently.
Yeah, their new show, The Grand Tour, has an opening sequence that makes Pirates of the Caribbean look like an episode of Bargain Hunt.
Indeed, and with that in mind, we are throwing every single penny we can at this.
Please welcome Richard Hammond and James May.
Somebody thought this was funny, didn't they?
Very funny.
This is quality. This is.
Are you just going to bring it on set?
No, I like it now. You built it. You want us in it? We'll be in it.
All right, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. But this is the brilliant thing about this. It's collapsible.
Yeah.
Is this by any chance a budget thing? I know it was, because they said to us when, are you coming on? They said, yeah. They said, oh, yeah, we'd like to, because you know you've got, like, a big budget.
It was just like
we haven't, so this is it.
It was a welcome back to the BBC, to be honest.
Thank you
Keeping
very
it simple,
much.
you know?
You've ruined
nice
it.
to see you.
It's a very funny joke, though, in case anybody didn't get it.
Oh, don't be like that. Now, your new show, The Grand Tour...
Should we stay in this now?
Well, if you want to.
I just
Are you
feel it's getting
comfortable?
in the way.
Just stay in it now.
Should we
It looks
move
good, to be honest.
It does.
Yeah,
OK,
yeah.
we'll stay with it.
Well, you're here because of your new show, The Grand Tour, and it's all top secret because your employers want to sell their subscriptions. But we
it's a
do
commercial-
have an
it's
exclusive.
commercial work.
We do have an exclusive sequence to show you all
Yeah,
later.
listen, boys, we should rubbish it, right? Because we know that the BBC have a rival car show, but it is really difficult because it's good, which is
thank
annoying.
you.
Very annoying.
Thank you.
Annoying.
A Team Rickshaw also burning rubber too.
Well, Andy and I are sending you this message at about 3 o'clock, and it's at that time of day where we have to try and work out whether or not we're going to make it for the live programme. We've got just over 25 miles to go, Andy, and 4 hours.
Right.
So, what do we think? What do we think? I mean, seriously, what do we think?
It's going to be a push, but we'll get there. I think. We'll go for it anyway.
Join us later, Al. Find out what the situation is.
Yes, yes, Skegness awaits, and we've heard it's nice out of season.
What are you doing?
Oh,
We've had a terrible accident.
You're just going to rip it.
We need to be cat-free of this
we're
car.
repairing it, yeah.
Well, you've got a car now. We're going to have a film. Well,
live,
with James and Richard's new deal with Amazon, it means that they don't have to worry about their pensions unduly.
But they should stay clear of charlatans offering them bogus
Yeah.
advice if they don't want to lose their money. Sadly, many older men have discovered that too late.
The city, home of high finance and low con men who rent offices in a bid to convince us they're bona fide investment firms. And they know exactly who they're targeting. It's men aged around 65. They now make up more than 3/4 of all investment fraud victims. Men like retired salesman Colin Smith from Birkenhead.
Hello, Dan.
Colin. He inherited money and was looking to invest it for his daughter and grandson's future. That's when a cold call came out of the blue from a city-based firm offering an investment opportunity in diamonds.
We all get dodgy sounding cold calls, but what made these sound convincing?
They were very, very professional in their attitude over the phone. The knowledge of the product. They said, do you realise you can make 30, 40, 50% profit on the margins? It was so convincing.
Over 14 months, Colin made several payments to the company and was sent paperwork showing he was making a profit. But he didn't take it at face value.
I happened to say to them, can I come down and see you in your office in London? Well, it wasn't. It was a meeting place outside a railway station. And then after that, they took me to a reception area where I had all little offices. I thought, this isn't right. I got back on the train and I said, I've been scammed here.
Just weeks later, the police confirmed the company was indeed fake.
So how much in total have you lost?
I've lost roughly about £500,000. It's just a staggering amount. I'm in rented property now. I haven't got much of a pension. I can just about survive, literally.
Sadly, Colin is just one of more than 3,000 victims of investment fraudsters last year. They're known as boiler room scams, with teams of con men making high-pressure sales calls day in, day out from rented offices. Detective Superintendent Maria Woodall says there's been a 10% rise in the number of victims of investment scams in the past year, with a staggering £75 million stolen.
Why is it blokes in their mid-60s are being targeted?
The man of the household in that generation normally looks after the finances. For some years now, savings have only been attracting a 1% interest rates in banks and building societies. They're having to find other ways of trying to get an income, which means they're more vulnerable to go for some of these schemes than they have been in the past.
And the way in for most scammers is that first cold call.
You've got to trust me here. £92,500.
This footage, seized by the police, was filmed by the fraudsters themselves. It shows them teaming up to convince their victim to hand over thousands of pounds in a fake investment deal.
As a last trade, that would be full and final, sir.
They're laughing at the victim as well.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And people need to wake up and think, no, I don't want my parents going through this. So we want, families to make sure that their relatives are looking out for these sorts of scams.
Some campaigners are calling on the government to act by banning all investment firms from making cold calls. And they've got the backing of former Pensions Minister Baroness Altman.
If we make cold calling illegal, even if it doesn't stop all the cold calling, then at least the public will have a much clearer idea that you shouldn't engage with these people. If somebody calls you, they are out to steal your money, just hang up.
If investment cold calls were illegal, then Colin would probably still have his £500,000 in the bank.
I know I can't be the only person in the country being scammed. There's thousands of us. There must be a law somewhere or technology to help us to get rid of these types of people.
Oh, well, Joe, Colin looks understandably very, very upset there. How typical is this case, though?
Well, sadly, more and more typical, particularly men like Colin of a certain age. And that's partly due to pension changes last year, because people can now draw down large sums from their pensions, which means they have cash in their pockets, which means they are particularly juicy targets. And if you do think you've been scammed at any point, then obviously do report it to Action Fraud.
But if you do get a call, how do you know if a company is dodgy or not?
Well, one thing you could do is go on the Financial Conduct Authority website, and I happen to have that handily over here on a plasma screen. And they have a warning list tool, which essentially is a list of dodgy companies, and you can check out if the company that's approached you is on that list. So you can fill out a few details. How did you find out about this investment? In Colin's case, it was the telephone. What's the investment? It was diamonds with Colin. Did they mention your pension? Yes. You go through to a warning page, and then you can search for the company name. Now, maybe the company's on that dodgy list. Of course, if it is, walk away.
Yeah.
But that's not an exclusive list. So if the company isn't on there, still be very suspicious, be cautious, think about it. Were you cold called? If you were, alarm bells should be going off. Do they say it's exclusive just for you, don't tell anyone else? Do they say, do it quickly? Is it time pressured? And also, is it just too good to be true? If they're promising huge returns, then, it probably is too good to be true.
And is there any way at all that people like Colin will get their money back?
Sadly,
no.
It's very, very unlikely. And that's why it's so important to be really vigilant. Very, very few people ever see any money again. Very few scammers are even caught. So that's why you've got to be really careful. All the information is up on the One Show website, so do take a look and be aware.
Brilliant. Cheers,
Thank you so much for that, Joe. Alex, if only we had a couple of middle-aged men sat with us right now.
Leave it.
With money burning a hole in their pocket.
Leave that right there.
Be perfect. Have you actually made
middle-aged? I'm 46. I'm not middle-aged.
I'm middle-aged
We're all
as well.
middle-aged.
When is middle-aged? Define middle-aged first of all.
You're not middle-aged.
Have you made any bad investments? Not about pensions, but have you made any seriously, thrown loads of cash at something and it's
James obviously has made a
Yeah, I've made quite a
terrible
few bad investments. Unfortunately, none of it was very expensive. So, no, not really.
I've never made a good investment.
No,
I keep all of my money in a sack in the shed, all of it.
What about being cold called?
Amazon?
Well, I can't be because I'm not going to go to the shed and get the money out of the sack, am I?
No, I mean, have you had
rang
a
up.
call, someone saying, look, we can give you an investment or invest in us?
Not that I know of.
I've had a lot of those.
Have you?
What I've had recently that keeps coming up a lot is a company, and at times they've rung me 3 times a day where they've said, oh, we've rung you about the accident you've had in your car.
Oh, yes.
And they've got the registration number right, but there's a few mistakes, like it's a car I don't own anymore, and I haven't had an accident.
just hang
in it,
up
which-
there.
Yes, well, I do.
When you've got that many cars, the chances are...
How many have I got?
I imagine quite a few, don't you?
It's an assumption. That's a gross assumption.
I'm sorry.
So far they've said we've got loads of cars, we're old, we've got money burning a hole in our pocket. you're
Welcome back.
middle-aged.
Listen, let's talk
You made
about...
us go in your cardboard car. To the BBC. Dance, Muppets, dance.
Let's talk about the
Yes.
new series,
Yes,
yeah? We're
all
moving
right.
on.
Yes. No, you've been
Grand
very
Tour.
nice about it.
Started on Friday. Now, apparently, it's very, very different to the show that you used to be on. Let's see.
How are you going to get it on there?
It's going to jump.
Oh, yeah, they're big jumpers, Cal.
Look, you see, it wants to.
He's limbering up. He's getting ready. You can tell.
Up you come.
It's not going to jump. They can't jump.
Up you come. Game of Thrones, sir. Look at that thing now! Bloody Nora.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought of it, but now you've mentioned it, you're right, it is completely different.
Totally. I mean, can you see what I mean?
But you do have a big tent.
Sorry? No, they're sitting like this.
I knew that was going to go there.
Come on. Yes,
I gave
we
you
do have a massive tent. I know.
And it travels, which is a new... That's
a new thing.
That's
Yeah.
sort of what tents
Yeah,
tend
that's
to
the
do.
point.
Yes, yes, of course. But the show travels.
Yeah, and
the show
it gave us a unique thing. I mean, had we ever done a show before together, which we never did.
No.
But had we done it, had
Yeah.
it been in a single studio, we needed some differences.
Yeah.
And this was a way of taking it out to the people that watch. And one of the things about the show that we never did, but if we had done, would have been its global appeal, and it's something that mattered to us. And
Yeah.
this was a way of going out and connecting by taking the whole thing to them. So we got back from Germany just now. We got
yesterday.
to Nashville again at the end of this week because we're exotic and travel a lot.
And in the old, you could say that in the old days, had we had a show, as Hammond says, that
Yeah.
the world came to us to watch it, but now we've sort of returned the favour and we've gone to the world.
With it.
How deep was that?
You ran out then. That happened.
But I tell you what was interesting, because obviously nobody's seen any clips yet, so watching the audience faces was quite telling then. It was positive,
noises?
by
Yeah,
the way.
good
It was good, it was good.
Can we have a shot of the
but
audience faces?
Look,
just to
they look at
confirm
that.
that?
Actually, they're ecstatic.
In
Some
all
of them have
seriousness,
fainted.
though,
It was that good.
how nervous were you about getting back as a trio? Did you think the magic would still be there? Are you nervous about Friday?
Oh, well,
wasn't-
that's a multiple question.
Yeah.
Because
I wasn't nervous about us getting back together because
Okay.
it all seemed horribly familiar.
it's all we can do.
But I'm speaking for myself. I'm very nervous about Friday because.
Are you really?
Well, yeah, because
we all
I
are.
mean, it's a new show, and any show
It's
you
a
do
big
is
deal,
different.
and
Yes.
also because, you know, in the past we sort of evolved to where we'd got, and that was, had we ever done a show together, that's what it was. This time we've gone out and thought about it. Hopefully people will follow us and find us, and when they do that, we want to reward them
And
with the best.
expectation is high.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone's
let's face
talking
it.
about it.
Yeah,
I know,
expectations
that's
high,
really scary, but
and
we
we're
can't.
burdened with humility.
Yeah, we are naturally humble men.
Yeah, clearly.
What we couldn't do was, you know, we can't radically reinvent ourselves. And
No.
people like certain things from us and expect it. We had to deliver that, but we have to refresh it. We had to renew it, reinvigorate it. Hopefully we have, but we won't know until after Friday.
Well,
We're waiting to find out,
anticipation is high, and we've got an exclusive clip from the second episode that we can all see, and there's no sign of these two maturing in any way.
No.
What have we done?
Right, listen. You open the door, and I'll throw this stun grenade in. In 3. No, wait. I don't know how it works. Oh, for God's sake. Hold your eyes here. Through the device. Right. You ready, Hammond? Go!
Come on! You said it was a stun grenade.
Yeah, I meant smoke.
Boys with their toys, really.
Conrad Star.
So how delighted are the three of you that you don't have to answer to the BBC complaints department this time round?
there will
Does it
still
make it
be...
easier?
We never did we?
They're not really.
No, you never did. That is true, James.
No, it's one of those adverts with the dusty complaints telephone. No, there'll still be. We still have to get stuff. We still don't want to offend people. We'll have to. We'll ignore it.
I'm fairly confident
Ignore
Amazon will complain if they feel they have to.
Yes.
Yes.
But, James, you were under a lot of pressure to stick with the BBC and Top Gear. Do you think you made the right decision to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah?
Well,
I mean,
in all
we
seriousness,
can't-
Yeah,
I mean, in the end,